Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we are here as always to break down, react and discuss to the latest Rangers game. A Rangers game that, yes, wasn't the most exciting game, wasn't the most thrilling game of football. There was large parts of that game that we barely got to second or third gear. But again, I'm not going to sit here and be overly negative about the fact that this Rangers team just has that winning habit and now has that winning mentality. They didn't need to be all the way up here to win games and beat the third best team in the league and beat the second best away team all season long, because they've conceded less goals than Celtic. They've picked up more points away from home. This was a tough tie here, ladies and gentlemen, yet this Rangers team was able to get the job done, and that there is absolutely glorious. And the fact that we've once again picked up yet another win over Hibernian, that's the third win in a row now, is absolutely glorious, because it leaves them all the way down here, 36 points behind us. And just the fact I can actually honestly sit here and say to you that the team's sitting third in this league that's got a lot of plaudits this season and a lot of praise after 34 matches is 36 points behind us. It's ridiculous, and I'm never ever going to allow any of that to ever be lost in any type of negativity. What we've seen this season is absolutely incredible for Rangers, and speaking of absolutely incredible, that is yet another game at Ibrox, our 17th game at Ibrox. It's now our 17th win with 49 goals scored and 3 conceded. That's just straight up stupidness. You only ever see that when you're sitting playing Football Manager and you're saving it before every game, and if you lose or drop points, you didn't continue, you didn't play on, you reload the save and do it again. That's literally what Steven Gerrard has done, but in real life with this Rangers team, and honestly, I'm loving every single damn second of it. But in saying that, I'm not going to sit here and bury my hand and just be a wee cheerleader, because that's never what we've done here on the channel. Through thick and thin, we've always spoke our mind and we spoke our truths to each other. Now, whether we agree with the truths or not has always been one that's been hotly contested in the comments, but that's why I love it. I'm sure a lot of you who's the regular guys that tune in through thick and thin, whether we've won the title or no, you're always here to talk about Rangers, because every game's important when you get to see that Rangers team. So as always, we will break down the game fairly, and we will discuss the good, the bad and the ugly, and the latter there pretty much defines and summarises that left hand side of Rangers. But we'll get on that as we break down the all game recap in a couple of seconds. But before we go any further down that rabbit hole, as always, just a wee friendly reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we are closing in on 50,000 subscribers, so any help would be greatly appreciated. If you enjoy the channel, please consider helping the old channel out by hitting that subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and it just helps us on our freaking way. But aye, enough cheap, cheeky plug-in YouTube things. Let's get on with the video then, shall we? And I think everyone, when we saw the starting 11, kind of expected to see that. It was definitely our quote-unquote strongest team that we can put, barring the injuries that we obviously have to Tavernier and Ryan Jack. We saw Roof and Morelos, again, that partnership that clearly Gerrard and the coaching staff want to see develop. It was massive for us during the sticky period of December and January, and we're trying to get back to that and building it now again. Kemar Roof is back fully fit. So we went into this game of football, and I actually thought the first 5 or so minutes was pretty positive from Rangers. You could see us dictating the tempo, we were in control, and I went, right, this is going to be a very, very good afternoon. And that kind of feeling and that kind of vibe continued through the opening 15 minutes, leading us directly at the 18th minute, where again we were dominating the ball, and once again it is at the foot of Steven Davis. This man, right, I know people tell me his age and he's 30 this and he's 30. That guy's no 30 none. He's out here playing like an 18-year-old who's busted on the scene and who just wants to earn a contract to play with this for his entire career, because it's ridiculous what this man is doing. Because I think back to last year and I thought he was done. I seen him going down. I was like, oh, unfortunately, this is sad. I'm sad about this. I'm depressed that we're going to be without Steven Davis. But this guy's sitting here looking like he could do this for as long as he wants to do, and it's no surprise he's heavily involved in the 18th minute, where he gets the ball and people are kind of nipping at his heels, and that pass that he loves to do out to the fullbacks was taken away from him. So he just goes, hold on, yous are taking that away from me and forcing me to go towards goal. I'm Steven Davis, put some respect on my name. So he skips by Gogic and the other boy that was near him. He hits a beautiful ball in behind the defence, Alfredo Morelos, whose touch is good, tries to strike it across goal, very similar to what he done not too long ago, putting it in another corner, but it is gone just wide, and our boy Kemar Roof gambles, gets into the back post, taps in, and it looks like it's 1-0 to Rangers, and we are on our way, but unfortunately, the old flag goes up. Now, I haven't seen really a clear angle because, again, we're watching on Rangers TV and the angle didn't really break it down for me. Maybe they done it at half-time when I went to the toilet and that. Maybe I kind of missed them breaking it down. But for me, I'm not 100% sure it's offside. I'm only 98.5% sure that it was offside just because of the old reaction for Kamaru, that kind of laugh like, aye. Well done, ref. You actually got one right. But before we could go down that sad corridor, I start wondering if that was going to negatively affect us because of the scar tissue that we have now after so many years. I've seen moments of that change the game. We get disheartened and then the team grows into it. We weren't even allowed to go down even past the first door on that because once again, Rangers were so positive down that left-hand side. And our boy Barisic, who going forward and putting the ball in the box is absolutely gorgeous. It was the other stuff that was the problem today, but this cross is brilliant, and Roof's header is amazing as well, nipping in front, actually I think nipping in front of Alfredo and nipping ahead of Porteous. It's a brilliant header, it's a downward header, and the goalkeeper somehow gets it, and he palms it away from Morelos, who's trying to gamble and get to the rebound, and you're thinking, okay, offside goal, unbelievable save. I've seen this story before, but the ball goes out to young Nathan Patterson, and this is what I really like about this lad. He's no rash, he doesn't just kick it, isn't he rushing to get the ball in the box, he waits till everybody gets back on side again, and Morelos makes it an unselfish run for him down that right hand side. The ball is weighted to perfection, Morelos just drives it into an area that he would want to be on the end of and ends up flicking up, going up to your boy Joe Aribo, and then it's just about technique when it's coming down for that volley. How's your first touch? How's your technique? Well, it's Joe Aribo, you know that boy has some sexy feet. Ah, you knew it was coming, didn't you? Cheers. But it's a brilliantly taken goal from Joe Aribo, and you're expecting that of a man of his qualities. Buried to the back of it. We are 1-0 up, and deservedly so. And I'm thinking, oh, here comes the shoulder moves, because everything right now is glorious, because you could feel that goal coming. But I don't know, maybe we played well for the next 5 minutes, right? We're still pinging the passes, but there wasn't another chance, and you know the longer that goes on, the way Hibs are set up is to always be a counter-attack side with Boyle doing that right-hand side. It's what their bread and butter is every single time they play against Rangers, and we got the first warning sign in the 29th minute of this game where Boyle gets in behind Barisic, who's caught gone too far up the park. Unfortunately, not the only time I'm going to say that, and he ends up going down into the box, and he tries to flick away from Connor Goldson. He falls over. Now, I originally thought he dived at the same time as the referee, because I'm seeing the referee right away without hesitation run and give him a yellow card. So I'm thinking, oh, right, so he's clearly dived in, that's why he's went down. But then I saw the replay and I thought maybe the booking for a dive is a bit harsh, because I didn't even think Boyle was looking for that as a foul. I don't know, it's just the way you look at it. I think it's just, he kind of just falls there, but I didn't think he's diving for the penalty. Maybe I've been too nice, but you know, champions mood and all that. But that championship mood was threatened just to be turned down a little bit, because we didn't learn our lesson, because 60 seconds later, Hibs one touch, ball in behind Barisic, but this time, just shy of the 30th minute, Barisic gets back and blocks the cross, not only once, but twice, and if he could have done that more times this afternoon, he wouldn't have had such an earful of Alan McGregor and Connor Goldson the rest of this freaking game. Now, from the resulting corner, once again, Alfredo Morelos gets there to clear it away, and I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, and I know it's not as sexy as a goal or sexy as an assist, but I do feel like it is important to mention how important he is to this team now, because I've never seen anybody in this Rangers team get to clear the ball away from the opposition corners as much as Alfredo, and I thought the moment he came off in the game, they looked a hell of a lot more dangerous for the old set pieces as well. But before I can go ahead and speak about that fun topic that I can't wait to break down, I have to once again mention Boyle and the combination down that left hand side. If you're getting bored, trust me, it's not even anywhere near done in this game. But this one eventually gets a shot on target, I think, because I'm pretty sure this is a phenomenal McGregor moment, just fingertips knocking it just wide. But you've seen McGregor's reaction, he's screaming, he's demanding to the referee and the linesman that he never touched it, but we've seen that before for McGregor, so it might be a wee bit of a cry wolf scenario there, but I honestly think McGregor, fantastic save to stop Boyle for opening the scoring for Hibs just before the end of the half. But another long range effort from Kevin Nisbet sort of summed up the end of the half. It was a very strong opening 29-30 minutes from Rangers, followed by a very sloppy, slow pedestrian aspect to the game where we just never didn't have that bite in our teeth, I would say, and I think Hibs could smell that and went after Barisic doing that left for the last 50 minutes where they took control of the game and looked threatening in certain stages. So we go into half-time and we're all thinking, right, we're going to sort this. We're going to come out at half-time firing. But again, we never quite really, we done enough. Again, we turned it on when we needed to turn it on, and it felt like we always had that switch there, like the wee red button in old Kay's car in Men in Black. It's there if we want to press it, but we just didn't press it until the latter stages when we had to. Now, before we go ahead and talk about the guy who's there on the wall, I want to actually mention Nathan Patterson, by the way, because I thought he was outstanding all day. I've already touched on for the goal that we actually scored, but for me, defensively, he's outstanding and way beyond his years. And we've kind of talked about that before, his anticipation, the way he sees the game, his intelligence. He's just his football intelligence. It's so damn impressive to see for somebody his of age that hasn't went out on loan, who hasn't had a lot of game. It seems like he's just slotted in there and he can do a bit of everything. He had a big moment in the 55th minute where Hibs again get down the left-hand side of Rangers. They whip the ball in, but Patterson just bolts out of nowhere and actually gets it cleared. That's brilliant defending, because that isn't his man to go and take. He's got his man on the left-hand side, but he senses the danger, gets here and gets it cleared. Brilliant from Patterson, and that wasn't the only time I was saying that all afternoon as well, by the way. Yes, they kind of blared that shot over the bar that we created in the first half, but for me, his performance as a fullback was outstanding, and the night and day difference of how defensively sound we were doing the right to the left was shocking in this game. And I think a perfect example of that is that Josh Doyce, who gets a lot of praise in hell. I think he's a talented player, he's young, he's going to have a very good career in my opinion. He looks a player for Hibs, and he's always been threatening when we've played against Hibs. But did you hear his name once all afternoon in that game? No, because Nathan Patterson literally put him like that, right? Slapped a wee collar on him, put a wee extended leash on him, and just walked him up and down all afternoon. It was a fantastic lockdown defensive display from Patterson, along with his attacking threat. For me, outstanding for the young man. Speaking of sensational, that gives us the perfect transition into the 62nd minute of this game, where, no surprise, Stephen Davis was heavily involved. He passes it to our boy Ryan Kent, but this right here is just all ability and all talent, because he's a way out there in the wing. He's got two guys on him. He fakes by one, glides by the other, glides by another one, then rattles a shot with his left foot, which is his quote-unquote weak foot, and buries it into the back of the net before Marciano can even go like that. That there is absolutely top-notch for Ryan Kent, and there's a reason the man is always on the wall. Despite people trying to pick holes up and criticise him for this, criticise him for that, no for me, ladies and gentlemen. He is a massive part to this Rangers team, and yes, it's not always perfect, but he is the beating heart to this Rangers side attacking. He always wants to get involved, he's always willing to try things, and that there is just him trying things, knowing he can beat people, and he's willing to have a pop for range. And he had one in the first half that went just wide, but again, I like that our players aren't afraid to keep trying and keep plugging away and having shots from range, because that's something we wanted for years, and we've got that in Ryan Kent. And by the way, that now moves Ryan Kent to 12 goals, 13 assists, which means 25 goal contributions for a laddie this season, and it's no over yet. Phenomenal from Ryan Kent, and I can't help but sit back and I just look at Kent and I just think there's so many parallels between Ryan Kent and Rangers this season, because none of them is getting half the respect that they deserve for what they have done this season. But as always, I'll sit here and I'll try and give the respect that both of them freaking deserve. But as it has been about 60 seconds since we talked about Boyle, let's unfortunately speak about him again then, shall we? Because in the 69th minute, by this point, we had made some changes. We took Morelos and aribo off, and the second that they went off the park, by the way, the intensity levels went all the way down to here. You talk about second or third gear, we went all the way to neutral the second Alfredo and aribo went off that park. And again, Hibs could smell that, because before we were good for 5-10 minutes and they couldn't get near us, but we scored, took the foot off the gas. Hibs then came back into the game, and Boyle again gets down the left hand side because Barisic has lost him, and eventually Hollander, who was outstanding by the way, forces him wide enough that its eventual shot is well saved and easily saved by Alan McGregor. Now from the set piece, Hibs end up putting the ball into the back of net, but it was funny because you could hear the whistle about 2 minutes before the ball actually hit the back of net, because they seen a clear foul in the actual set piece. So despite them putting the ball in the back of net, you can quite clearly hear 5 seconds before it was in, the whistle had gone for a clear push on the man. Which, you'll know I've got a lot of problems with, especially whenever we play Kilmarnock, because every set piece we do is blown for a foul, and that's probably the first time I've seen it actually given against us this frickin' season. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, they did eventually go ahead and get their goal, and it came in the 78th minute where Kane, sorry to say, down the left-hand side, ball whipped in, and Nesbitt does very well. It's actually a really good header in my opinion. That's someone who's impressed me a lot this season. It's a great header past Alan McGregor, and that's at 2-1 now, where the game was dead buried at 2-0, but again, intensity just dropped too low. Hibs kept fighting, kept coming back in. They created yet another opportunity. We didn't address that left-hand side enough. They came back in it, and that went from so damn comfortable and so damn relaxed, game dead and buried, to 12 minutes of nippy bum time. But if I'm honest with you, within the last 12 minutes of the game, there was not a holy crap, what a moment. Alan McGregor wasn't forced into an amazing save. Again, they came down that left-hand side with frees, whipping balls in. It's caused McGregor to go absolutely mental, to cause Goldson to go absolutely mental. But again, we always dealt with it. When the balls did come into the box, Goldson and especially Hollander were outstanding. Every set piece that we sort of had, despite them looking more dangerous now that Alfredo was off the kind of near pit the post, we did eventually get clear. So it does end up winning 2-1, and I felt a lot more comfortable. I don't know about you guys, but the minute Zungu and Itten came on, I went, right, the closers are in now. I'm feeling comfortable and happy, because Itten came on, won a couple of free kicks, chewed up time, and that was game, set and match, ladies and gentlemen. So it's yet another win for Rangers, 17 out of 17 at Ibrox. Again, delighted with the 3 points. Again, there's some nitpicky things that I'm not happy about, and a wee bit frustrating to see us drop so far off the intensity. But again, we're out here winning games of football versus tough teams, ladies and gentlemen. And I remember it wasn't too long ago that we were sitting here fuming because we were playing amazing and no beating them. So now it's the exact opposite. I'm not going to complain too much. Now, from an individual point of view, we've already talked about how excellent Patterson was. I barely touched on how good Hollander was, by the way, but he was outstanding. I believe he won Sponsors Man of the Match, and I can completely see why. Outstanding again from the big Swede, who still hasn't lost a league game in a Rangers shirt. So they two were so damn impressive to me. Barisic really struggled. You might have been able to tell that from the video. It was just defensively, he just couldn't switch on, and he couldn't deal with Boyle's pace. And that's not the first time that this has happened. You go back to the 2-2 draw earlier in the season, he seems to struggle when he's 1v1 versus a pacey player, and Boyle just fancied him in a race all afternoon and just took him to the cleaner. So it wasn't a good performance from him defensively, but again, going forward, still had his moments, and I'm sure BB will bounce back. It was just one of those days where it was a bad day at the office. But if you're asking me for the man of the match, again, the three people would be Stephen Davis, Nathan Patterson, and our boy Hollander. But I didn't ever feel like he gets enough respect, so I'm going to go with Hollander. He's going to be my man of the match for the game of football. What about you guys? If you're still here watching, if you're still a legend, despite the league being over, you're still tuning in, you're still getting involved, talking about Rangers things, what do you think down there in the comment section below? Share your thoughts and opinion. Who stood out to you? What do you want to talk about for the game? And how good is Nathan Patterson? But that's it. That's me all done and dusty with today's video. If you got involved down there in the comment section below, I will be speaking to you very shortly. And as always, I've been Siege92. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. All the best, and bye-bye.